Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to jump into the Wizard's Spell Compendium, Volume 1, and we're going to look at a spell that has really popped up at my table a lot in the last few years. It was one that was discovered by my son Patrick, playing his high-level magic user. It is a 4th level spell, Bone Seize. I believe this is a 2nd edition spell. So I know there's some purists out there who are screaming at their TV right now, but we incorporate stuff from wherever we find it. So Bone Seize, it's a Necromancy spell, level 4, so you have to be 7th level to cast it, 60-yard range, verbal and somatic components, casting time is 3 segments, 1 to 10 rounds, which is an interesting duration, area of effect 1 person, saving throw negates. With this spell, the caster can take control of the victim's bones. It does not matter whether the target is alive or dead. Control is awkward at best. The caster can make the subject walk, lay, and sit down only. The subject cannot be made to fight, cast spells, speak, jump, etc. And it says here it's restricted to undead spellcasters, and it is an uncommon spell. So really brief write-up on this, and it's had kind of a big impact, all outsized with its brevity at my table. And the reason is, first off, it's only a 4th level spell, and it's saving throw negates it, which is pretty good, but you take control of the victim's bones. You actually control what their bones do. And the spell description does not answer a few questions that have come up at our table. First off, duration 1 to 10 rounds. That's easy. It's not addressed in the write-up, it should be, but 1 to 10 rounds when the spell is cast, the player throws a 10-sider. If it comes up 5, then they get it for 5 rounds. If it comes up 8, they get it for 8 rounds. So that's pretty straightforward, but I was surprised it wasn't called out in the spell description. And it doesn't say whether it'll affect undead. It does affect target if it's alive or dead, but it does not say it will affect undead. So for instance, could I seize control of a skeleton? An evil skeleton. First off, if I'm 7th level casting this guy, then I really don't care about a skeleton. If I can't take care of it some other way, then I've got other problems to worry about. But still, it'd be interesting to see this address whether it can be cast by or on undead. There are other undead, such as wights and things that maybe you do want to be able to cast this on. Maybe you want to be able to seize their bones and make them run away or something, and it's not addressed either way. At my table, the answer is no. Because it's not called out as being able to affect undead, I don't allow it to affect undead. It's just my call at the table. And then the other question becomes, it is called Bone Seize, but is this a mental controlling spell? Which would be another reason why it couldn't affect undead. And my answer to that is no. It says specifically you take control of the victim's bones. It doesn't say you take control of their mind. You actually are manipulating their bones. So this can be an interesting spell. It's a great way to stop the big bad evil guy if there's a way you can make him fail his saving throw. If there are modifiers in the saving throw that bring the saving throw down, it could be a good way to make him immobile for a little while. I mean, honestly, it's no different than a hold monster, but this one is a little more, despicable because it's grabbing the actual bones. And I've rolled at my table, just as a side note, that after something is affected by this spell, their body just aches. It's just, I don't know if anybody's ever been in an auto accident. I have been in a couple. And the one thing you note is that for the next few days, your bones just ache. And I said, yeah, that's part of the side effect of the spell. So if you decide you're going to grab that, person in the inn and you're going to seize his bones and make him walk out of the inn, when it's done, his bones are really going to be hurting. And it says here that the subject cannot be made to fight, cast spells, speak, or jump. But I rule that it can be used to keep the person from speaking because you've seized control of their jaw and their other bones in their face. They're not able to speak, or the best they can do is something like this. So I would allow something like that, but only that. So why is this spell a big deal? Well, it's not. There's other 4th level spells that do similar effects that can be equally devastating for the creature that's subject to the spell. It's just that my son Pat really got excited about this spell and has used it a fair amount with his high-level magic user. Now that being said, high-level magic user, I don't care if they have this spell. If it's a medium level campaign, 7th, 8th, 9th level, I am going to kind of step back a little bit and decide if I want this spell in my game. Again, it's no different than a hold monster, but, well, I guess the difference is you can make the person whose bones have been seized walk somewhere else or do something that you need them to do, which you can't do with a creature that's held. So there is a difference there. So I exercise caution with this spell as far as giving it out to medium level groups. I generally don't, but I have no objection to it being used in the higher level campaign. That's fine. And accolades to my son Pat. He went through these books and found a number of spells that I had kind of overlooked, and one of them is Bone Seize, and it has actually become kind of a staple at our table. Other players have used it. It's just one that's always there now. But that's all I've got to say today about Bone Seize. Let me know what you think. Is this a spell you'd allow? Do you allow second level or second edition spells at your table? Or are you a purist where you're only going to use stuff that was written for AD&D? I've heard from some folks that say they won't even use Unearthed Arcana. They stay with the original stuff. And that's great. Whatever works at your table is fine. My table, I like expanding it. I like hitting my players with surprises, or in this case, the players surprising me with something. I encourage it, and honestly, I don't care where it comes from. I use stuff from Star Trek in my D&D game. I've used stuff from the various superhero movies, comic books, you name it. It's appeared in my D&D game. So I don't mind it, and like I say, I actively encourage it. That's all I've got to say today about Bone Seize. Let me know what you think. Is this a spell you've used or you would use? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. Like and subscribe if you haven't already with the channel. Please leave comments. I'm always interested in any kind of positive feedback. Just go ahead and put it below. But that's all I've got time for today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.